Welcome back to MMA Unhinged, and joining us today is the juggernaut Jacinta Austin. Jacinta, thank you for taking the time, and I know I finally got you on here. So how are you, and how are you feeling as we're just about 2 weeks out from your fight?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good. We're just about to enter like the last week of hard training. One more week of hard training and one more week of just being sharp. And yeah, it's gone really, really quick. It's been a great camp. I kind of just rolled this one off the back of the previous one. So yeah, feeling good.
You know, sometimes fighters talk about the last week being sometimes the hardest or sometimes being the easiest. So for you, do you find it the hardest or actually the easiest as you know you're coming towards the end?
Of training or fight week?
Of training.
Of training. I find the second last week to be the hardest because the finish line is so far away and you're still in the part where you're pushing really hard. So the last week I find it a bit easier because I'm like, oh, it's just one more week. But this time round, I'm not doing like any sort of weight cut or weight drop. So that's been different as well, like just being fully energized the whole time. Whereas I would normally probably drop my calories a bit by now. So yeah, it doesn't feel as exhausting because I've got like so much fuel this time as well.
Of course. I do want to talk about the weight cut. But before I go any further, the Juggernaut, I need to hear the backstory. How did you get that nickname?
In my amateur days fighting, I think I was at like fight number probably like 10. And then one of the boys there, he was like 11 years old. And we were thinking of fight names. Like I'd had a few wins and we're just joking around about making fight names. And then he came, like we got to rhyme it. We got to have a J so it sounds good with Jacinta. And then he said juggernaut. And I was like, what's a juggernaut? And then when I Googled it, the definition was pretty, like it was fitting. The definition was like a forward moving, powerful, overwhelming force and kind of resonated with the way I fight. So it stuck.
I like it. Now, I want to recap a little bit about your recent win. Congratulations, first off, over your win with Carolina Wojcik. Looking back at that fight in your post-fight speech, with your post-fight interview, you talked about you wanted to get back in there ASAP. Did you feel do you feel better when you're staying active, or is it just the idea of, kind of just riding that momentum, as you had said?
I definitely feel better active because I know that I'm moving closer towards my goal quicker. I did take 6 months between the one before, just to work on my skill set and develop a little bit more. So I think that 6 months was necessary, but I'm not a fan of waiting that long.
Of course. And you fought at Eternal MMA before. I think I like to say that you got the best of both worlds. You're getting a title shot, but you're also getting, you're getting back there as ASAP as you wanted. So when you look at this, obviously, I'd like to say that you were getting close to getting that title shot or maybe a title contention fight in either promotions, whether it was Octagon or Eternal. Was it important for you to get that kind of fight for you at this time of your career?
I think so, because I had kind of been making my case for a while and asking for the Eternal belt. Each time I fought, I would get on the mic and ask for it. The stars never came together before, and I think a part of that was that Eternal wanted me to have like more experience as well before I fought for the title. So yeah, now I've gone away overseas and done that because I didn't feel like it was something I could do in Australia with the lack of depth to the women's both weights, really. I mean, there's more in flyweight, but in strawweight, there's next to no one to fight. So yeah, now I feel like I've gone away and done that, and yeah, I finally get to fight for the belt that I wanted.
Of course. Now, I did say that I would ask you about that weight cut that you kind of brought up. So obviously, you haven't fought at flyweight since 2021, if I'm correct here. What is it like to be able to jump back up at 125, even though, I mean, besides the training and the camp, what is it like fighting at 115 and 125?
I think 115 definitely suits my frame a bit better. But I think for this particular fight, Amena is not like very big of a flyweight. She's kind of a small flyweight. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue for this fight. When I fought 20 in 2021 in flyweight, it did present an issue on the night, strength wise. But it didn't help that like the flyweight I fought missed weight anyway, so she wasn't even a flyweight. I guess she was a bantam that night. So yeah, I don't love being there, but it has been fun to keep my calories really, really high in camp and not have to check the scales all the time and not have to worry about that side. I can just kind of just eat clean and enjoy my life a little bit more.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously, this is going to be a title shot. So, I mean, if you win the belt, great. You're going to be fighting at 125. But is there anything in the back of your mind saying that maybe you would go back to 115 if there was other opportunities somewhere? Or do you think maybe 125, you might stick there for a bit?
No, I'm just literally jumping up to get the title. Yeah, it was offered at flyweight, not at strawweight, because like obviously Amina can't make strawweight. She could probably, I reckon she could definitely, because she has before made a catch weight. But obviously it's a title, so we need to fight it there at flyweight. But yeah, after this, I mean, it really depends what happens after this. But yeah, my home will remain in strawweight.
Of course. And, after 2 years, you're returning home to fight back at home. Describe that feeling, being able to fight back home, and just describe the energy that those Australian fans really bring.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit odd. I haven't fought in front of people I know since my debut. I haven't fought in Sydney since my pro debut. So yeah, I haven't really experienced having friends and family there, or even a somewhat supportive crowd, because I'm always in over in Germany fighting Europeans. So yeah, it's going to be different. I'm sure I'm going to feel like very encouraged on the night. I know she has quite a big fan base as well. So yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a really loud crowd. We're both going to have a lot of supporters.
Of course. And I got to ask you, obviously there's that big stadium there in Australia. Have you ever had a dream to fight at the Marvel Stadium? If you ever fought in a promotion that would be interested in bringing a huge card there?
Which stadium is it?
The Marvel Stadium.
Marvel Stadium. Is that like the new Acer Arena? Is that?
I believe so. Yes. I believe Alexander Volkanovski talked about it one time.
Oh, okay. If it's the one in Sydney, I have fought in the Sydney one. I fought boxing in the Sydney one a couple of years ago. But yeah, I haven't fought MMA at home in Sydney, so I would love to do that.
And I mean, I guess like being a fellow Australian that you're going to be fighting, looking at her, what are your thoughts about her and just like her fighting style and everything? Did you know much about her prior to signing for this fight?
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of training together. Nothing recent. Probably I'd say it was like a year and a half to 2 years ago that we last trained together. So I'm sure we're both going to be quite a lot more developed since then. She's definitely very aggressive. She's a go-getter. She's fit. I think she's pretty much down to fight anyone and give it a good go. I think that in this fight, you're going to see pretty much a difference in the levels that we've both been fighting at. I've been fighting at like a much higher level with a lot more experienced girls. So I think that's what's going to show on the night. But at the same time, like the opportunity she has in front of her to beat me for the eternal flyweight title is huge. So I know she's just going to bring the fight the entire time. It's going to be a violent fight.
Yeah, and I just want to ask about your prediction, but I don't want to ask you exactly your exact prediction, but can I expect maybe another bloody matchup like you did with Carolina?
I would love that. Like, I love to, yeah, if I could do that every fight, I would. So that's always the goal. If I can, yeah, in an ideal world, I'd love to like bloody someone up and then submit them in the next couple rounds. I think that's my ideal situation. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what I'm presented with on the night.
And it seems like you almost thrive off of something like that. Is that something that you enjoy doing? Is that your something that gets you going in the fight? Is just getting it bloody and get your opponent cut up and just almost like a grinder of a fight?
I think so. Like, it's a bit odd, but I kind of have dreams about it for like weeks in advance. It's kind of a bit of a sociopath in that way. I don't know. Yeah, I like to. I'm just super competitive, and once I get into that mode in the cage of feeling violent, like, yeah, I just feel very violent, and I don't really feel like that in life or in training, but on the fight night, that's how I feel. And once I see, like, I'm like a shark. Once I see a little bit of blood, I'm after it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that puts me to my next question. You know, I think every fight and every fighter that you face is different. But looking at maybe the last time that you went for a title shot, is there that maybe you came up short on? Is there something that maybe you could take from that fight that you learned that you can implement into this fight?
Yeah, definitely. The last title fight that I had lost, like, Delista was an incredibly skilled opponent and incredibly experienced. I knew that was going to be a tough night no matter what happened. I think something I have learned from that fight is, like, especially over 5 rounds, like, it's a 5-round fight. You don't need to rush your decision making. So I don't know if you've seen that fight, but the way it ended was me rushing back to my feet. Maybe I should have taken a more calculated approach to working my way back up. So I definitely learnt from that and got to work on quite a few things from that fight, including like my mindset, little internal battles that you have. So yeah, now we're going to go again. We're going to try again. And yeah, I feel like I'm definitely going to be successful this time.
You know, and I think you got so much great things ahead of you. And I mean, you're doing such great things now. So how do you kind of envision yourself in the next few years? Or where do you envision yourself in the next few years?
Yeah, it's kind of no secret that my goal is to be fighting in the UFC. And I really believe that once I get this win and I make it an impressive win, that, yeah, I'll be in that position by the end of the year.
I know that your goal is to be in the UFC, but is there any part of you that maybe would explore maybe the Contender Series or just get a straight shot right to the UFC?
No, definitely the Contender Series is an option and is probably my way in. Yeah.
And that being said, so I talked to Jacinta the fighter, but I want to talk to Jacinta the person here and get a little personable. So I just want I want to fire off questions at you, and as first thing you can think of, okay? Your favorite fighter?
Rose Namajunas.
And your favorite male fighter?
At the moment, it's Poatan.
Fair enough. Your favorite fight of yours?
Probably my octagon debut against Sofia Bagashvili.
And your favorite cheat meal?
Eljana, which is like a barbecue, which is like a charcoal chicken place.
Okay. Your favorite place that you've traveled?
Japan.
And your favorite day of the week?
Saturday.
And why Saturday?
Saturday is like my sparring and fight simulation day. So that goes for a couple of hours, and then I have the rest of the day to do whatever I want, which is odd.
Excellent. And lastly, your favorite movie?
Kill Bill.
And what are you going to do after the fight?
Probably sit there and plan my next fight, but just hang out. I've got a lot of people coming to the fight, so just catch up with everyone, hang out with everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Jacinta. Again, I do appreciate you taking the time to come on. I know you're just 2 weeks out. I know you're grinding there, so I do appreciate you taking the time. And just thanks again, and just good luck with your fight here in the next 2 weeks. And well, hope we can talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.